Recording. Alright, guys.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the first ever VHL Podcast.
Yeah.
VHL.
Yeah, VHL.
Thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you later. And goodbye.
Alright, so, Evan, what are you thinking about the TikTokers being eliminated from the playoffs?
You know, it's all part of the plan. I think
Okay.
it wasn't part of the plan. We're gonna make the cup. We're gonna go far. But
Okay.
as soon as we started the season, I believe like 0-3, something like that.
Yup.
And
Okay.
we got a bit of energy when we won 2 games in a row. When the first 2 games put Kachakov in, we win 2 in a row. We were looking good.
Yeah.
But then after that, we lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We lose 7 in a row after that. And that's when I knew that we really had no chance. And we're going all for the rebuild. We made a trade, got that first round pick from the Clownfish. We're looking good. My team is. I'm confident. We got Zayas Skibby. He's a young guy. He's coming in. He dropped 27 points, I believe, last season. He's confident. He's a guy I believe we could build around. We got Evan Sycon, who he's also a pretty good winger. He's playing not as good as I want him to, but
Yeah.
I think him and Zaya could be a good top 2 for the offensive line. And he's developing nicely.
Offensive one.
And David De La Cruz, he kind of did absolutely dog poo last season. But, Fyodor Kachekov, he's going to give him some tutoring in the offseason. We're going to bring in a good squad, and I think we're going to be a good contender next year.
Okay.
One thing that is
Sorry
interesting
for
to
the
note,
dog
but I
barking,
believe
everyone, if you can hear that. Oops. But
one thing that there is to note about the TikTokers, I think, is next year is it's a make or break season for. Hold on, I got a snap.
oh my god.
It's a make or break season for Andy Peralta. I mean, he's an 87 overall. He's going to develop over the offseason. Hopefully, he gets up to, I believe he can get up to a 92. Hopefully, he does. We'll see what happens with that. But, I mean, we look at his stats through 2 seasons. This season, he put up 7 points in 20 games. Season number 1, give me a second. We can go ahead and pull this up.
Yeah.
Season 1, he put up 10 points in 12 games, which isn't bad, but declining to 7 points in 20 games, that's just not a sign of improvement, not something I want to see. Our team doesn't do as good. And I believe part of that is on Andy Peralta. I think he needs to step it up. And I think if he doesn't step it up next season, we can start throwing the word bust around for being a first overall pick.
That's true. First overall, yeah. That's pretty big. Alright, so next question I have here. Who do you think is winning the cup?
This year?
This year, yeah.
I think we look at the 4 playoff teams, and I'm a visual learner, so I need to take a look. I think my favorite, I really think, is the Comets. I think the Cornets, I just don't see them as a team who is going to do as well as they've shown on paper.
Okay.
But the Comets, I believe, they're neck and neck with the Cornets. I just think the Comets have a better goalie. They're going to win the goaltending battle.
That goalie is going to help them real good in the playoffs.
And they have the forwards and they have the goalie. Defensively, honestly, actually, I just looked at it and their defense isn't as bad as I thought it was. But defensively, I think they'll struggle against the Cornets. But
Clado,
I think
a beautiful season.
Clado will. I see him being a very possible Conn Smythe candidate at the end of this playoff.
And Vezina as well.
Oh, yeah.
But Clado with an amazing season, has total of 432 shots on net, shots against, and then 391 saves, 2 shutouts, and then with a .905 save percentage. That is just beautiful. Goals against per game are 2.05, but it's not bad.
Who's your favorite for the cup?
For this season, I'm gonna have to go. That's a pretty good question, but let's see. The Comets have been buzzing the past few games. Maybe they can carry it into the playoffs. One would think, but I don't know. I'm gonna go probably with the Comets winning the playoffs or winning the cup here. Probably because, like you said, they have good goaltending. Their defense isn't bad. They have Giovanni Pimpson, who has obviously been their best player on the team. He's going to be scoring goals. Clado can make a good saves when he needs to. Their team is pretty good all around, so I think they have a good chance of winning the cup.
Who's your underdog?
My underdog for the playoffs?
Yeah. Who do you think could win it? Who not everyone's giving a lot of attention to?
Honestly, I'm going to have to go with the Chicago Chimichangas.
Interesting pick.
Because, obviously they have that 96 overall Martinez. But, they do have a team full of rookies, which is really going to hurt them. They have their 80 overall goalie. They don't have a defenseman. They have a 79 overall defenseman. That's going to hurt them real big. They recently acquired Justin Korn, which is actually a big upgrade. Helped them very much. Jesus, which is a rookie. He's only an 81. Billy Brown, he's an 81 overall as well. He's a rookie. So, obviously, their team's full of rookies, but they also have the best player in the league that overall-wise. So, I feel like they have a chance to win it, but I feel like everyone doesn't think they will win it. So here's a question here. Who do you think's going to win it for next year? Who has the best future for next year?
I think for next year, I think some teams to look out for who are going to be legitimate good teams are... I can't take a look. I think the Banks, they have 3 people who have 100% upside. They already have Griffin, who's 92. Cosmo Ryder is going to develop. I know they benched him, but I see him being better next year. I think the Banks are going to be... They're probably going to be my number 1 contender for next year. And besides them... Besides them, I don't know who I'd give it to. Maybe the Comets or the Corn Hats. They both have some high 80 overall players. As long as they develop right, I think they could both be.
I see. Now, let's go over to awards this season. Who do you think is going to be the MVP of this season?
The MVP. An interesting award. I see the MVP as you can't give it to a team who has multiple good players who are both having good seasons.
Okay.
So, I think in terms of who is contributing to their team's success the most, there's a lot of good ones.
There is.
But honestly, I would have to give it. I think this might be a shocker. But give me Gunnar Glue.
Gunnar Glue.
I think when he took over for Curtis Ansley, they were, I think, a bottom 3 team. They were a bottom in the East, maybe. Something like that. Let's see. Curtis played 4 games. So he started the first 4 games, and they won 2 of those.
Correct.
Wait, no, that's not right.
Never mind. Not
He
correct.
One of them he didn't play.
Okay.
He played 4 out of their first 5 games. Out of those 4, they only won 2 games. He played for one of those.
Okay.
And since then, since those first 5 games, their team has gone on a tear of how many wins have they gotten? They've gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They've gotten 8 wins in their last 15 or so games. Which I think if they never made that goalie switch, he leads the league in save percentage, he almost leads the league in goals against per game. He has, I believe, the most wins per games played. And he's putting up 21 shots against per game. I think he contributes the most to Chicago's success.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for this award, you could very much go. Actually, no, I changed my answer. I think disregard everything I just said. Give it to Jesus Abandonado.
Okay. So Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got 23 goals, which is 13 more than anybody else on his team.
Okay.
And he's a difference maker for them, especially being a rookie. But I think out of the top 4 teams, they all have a lot of good players, so it's hard to pick who's the most valuable. But I'd say it's Jesus.
So let's get to an easier reward. Maybe we can decide here. Offensive Player of the Award. Who do you think has that?
Offensive Player of the Year?
Yep. I mean, obviously, a high pick here. I mean, Jesus does have the most goals in the league at 23. Falling right behind him is Shane and AJ. So, I mean, with also Aiden Tag has 25 assists, too. That's pretty big. But obviously, goals are more important than assists. So,
I'd give it to Shane.
Shane.
Because Jesus, he's playing with the best player in the league. That's like you put Connor
That's
McDavid
true.
with any player in the NHL, that player's going to score goals.
That's true.
So I think Jesus would not have anywhere near as many points as he does if he's not playing with Guillermo.
Mm-hmm.
I still think he deserves the MVP, though, because you still got to be able to put the puck in the net.
Yep.
But you give it to Shane because Shane he's playing with Garfield Petit, who's an 87, and Jacob Hall, who's a rookie, 83. And I think he provides enough for his team. He got 22 goals,
Yep. Okay.
40 points, and he has 40 points, and his team has 52 total goals. So he has contributed to all but 12 goals the entire season for his team.
Okay.
Who would you give the MVP or the Offensive Player of the Year to?
Offensive Player of the Award, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I would definitely go with Shane. For MVP, that is a pretty tough one. Honestly, I mean, see, it's kind of gotta be like a playoff team. I feel like so it can't be like me or something like, but if I had to give it to someone, who would I give it to? Honestly, what?
Sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah.
another MVP candidate is AJ Patron.
Thank you.
10 more goals than he has 10 more goals than Shawn Mendes, and their goaltending is not amazing. They have a bottom 4 goalie or a bottom 3 goalie in the league.
Yeah.
I think AJ he's contributed a lot to this team that people don't know about.
That is also true. I was gonna go with myself, but I feel like since that I'm not in the playoffs, I feel like I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't be MVP. I mean, actually, you know what? No, take that back. I'm gonna go with myself. I'm gonna go with AJ Patron. I feel like like you said, he has 10 more goals than the second most on his team. in points. And he's just been carrying the Clownfish, trying to get them into the playoffs, but sadly failed at it. So I'm gonna go with AJ Patron for MVP.
Yeah, and you see that 5-goal game. He actually carried his team that game.
Exactly, 5-goal. Yup. So I will go with AJ Patron. Anyways, now let's move on to Defensive Player of the Year, which is obviously very hard because all of the defensemen this year were absolute poop. So this is gonna be a little hard work to decide.
I'd give it to Gavin Transports.
Gavin, that seems like the only right answer, really. All right, so
I mean, the defensive stats that Philly is putting up are remarkable. You look at all the shots against. The highest shots against is the Clownfish with about 23. The lowest, besides the Banks, the lowest is about 20.5. So that's a difference of 2.5 shots.
Yep.
And then the Banks are all the way at an average of like 16.5 per game, 17 per game.
Yeah.
Which is 3 less than every other team.
Yep.
I think their defense has carried them into the playoffs. They only have 2.4 goals against, which is barely enough to get into the playoffs.
Yep.
I think their defense is, and their goaltending is not good. So if they had good goaltending and good defense, they would be a really good team. But their goaltending is holding them back. So I think you got to give it to Gavin Transport.
Yeah. Okay. Now, this reward can go to any 3 of these players, and I'm gonna name them, and then I'll say the reward. So we have Gunnar Glue, Carter Vicente, and Caden Clado. And obviously you can tell the award is Vezina, the Vezina trophy, the Vezina winner. Who do you think out of those 3 guys will come up with the trophy?
I think all 3. You can't argue with any of them.
Exactly. But if you had to pick
one. Cladu, he faces the most shots per game, has the most he has 2 shutouts, second most wins for a goalie. Carter has the most wins for a goalie, 2 shutouts. Gunnar Glue hasn't played as many games, but
he also has 1 shutout in those 16 games.
Contributed more to his team's success, and he has the highest save percentage in the league. But I think I would give it to Carter Vicente.
That's a solid choice. Personally, I'm thinking towards Gunnar Glue here. Like you said, once they put Gunnar Glue in, it was like a game changer for them. They turned them right around. They got him a winning record. He got him into the playoffs. He did his job. So he only played 16 games. He has more shots. I don't know. I was gonna say he has more shots than the TikTokers, but no, he doesn't. But he has almost as more shots than the TikTokers' 2 goalies combined. So I'm thinking we give it to Gunnar Glue here, or at least I will.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
I think all 3 are completely deserving.
They are, yep.
I think we give Carter Vicente the edge is that the entire season he's been in the Vezina talk.
Mm-hmm.
Clado, he started off the season rough and he worked up. Carter has always been in the top 3 goalies all year. So
that's true, yep. Okay.
Also, one other note I have to say is Gunnar Glue did not make the All-Star game, and I think that's something to look at when you're talking about the Vezina.
That is true, but it's only 2 goalies can make the All-Star game, which is, and it was a really tough decision, but you know, it is what it is. Now,
all right, let's take a look at
what. Go ahead.
I think we should take a look at team by team. You tell me what you think of each team, and
team by team.
Let's name some takeaways. Start off, fancy TikTokers. What are your takeaways? It can be about anything. Their future, this season.
Well, obviously, their future is pretty bright. It's there. They have obviously. Oh, I can't. They have Zipley, who is maybe gonna be a 90 overall. Like that's pretty huge. They have Kevin, who maybe be a 91. Andy Peralta, even though he's aiming towards the bust side, he still has a chance to become a 94. So I feel like their future.
No, he is going to become a 94. He's locked in for a 94.
We weren't supposed to release that.
No, look at the season 2 spreadsheet.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, never mind. Yeah, you're right. All right, so he is gonna be a 94. That's even better. So I feel like that's you know that's gonna be a good future for them.
I think this team it's interesting. They had a good team this year to compete. They obviously failed the expectations.
Yeah.
I think they'll have a good team next year. Hopefully they can meet those expectations or exceed.
Yes.
Let's go to our next team.
Our next team is my personal favorite. Obviously, the Corpus Christi Cloudfish. The Corpus Christi
Clownfish and TikTokers, iconic rivalry.
Exactly. Yep.
It's the best rivalry in the league.
It is.
They played in the first ever VHL game. They played in playoffs last year.
Yep.
It's always a good one. And this year they swept the TikTokers.
That is
which
true.
I think that's their main weakness, why they didn't make the playoffs. 4 of their wins were against the TikTokers. That means they had 6 other wins that weren't the TikTokers. And I think 3 of those came against the Banks, who are also a bottom team. So it's just they can't compete against the good opponents. Like the Cornets, the Comets, and the Chimichangas, they struggle against.
Yep. But their future's pretty bright. Sean Mendez, of course, he's gonna be a 91. That's pretty big. Charlie, he has a chance to become a 91. So if he does, that'll be big right there.
Only at 30%.
Yeah, it's only at 30%, but if he hits that 30%, that's pretty big. Troy, their franchise defenseman, he's gonna be a 95. That's gonna be great for them in the future. Jude St. Brown, he could go up. He's an 86 currently right now, but he can go up. And if he goes up to a 90 or something, their defense could be unstoppable.
And he did have a Consummate under his belt.
That is true.
And I think he is something
TikToker's owner is a little dumb to trade him.
Talking about that trade, you send Paige Ferrari, you get back a first, Judd St. Brown. I would say
what?
TikTokers won the trade.
What? You said that completely wrong.
Paige Ferrari for Judd St. Brown to first.
Yeah, you said you'll send Paige Ferrari for. Oh, okay, wait, no, never mind. I'm wrong.
But I think the TikTokers won this trade because Judd St. Brown is an 86, could go up, could go down. That's a gamble. Paige Ferrari is for sure going to be an 89. They don't need her to be good right now because they're not a contender right now. So we have time. And we're getting a first-round pick, which ends up being the 2nd overall pick. I think that's a remarkable trade for the TikTokers. I don't think it's that bad for the Clownfish because you're upgrading your defensive. They upgraded their defense. Sadly, they didn't make the playoffs, but I think that definitely could have given them the spurt they needed to take the playoffs and possibly push farther.
Yep.
I think maybe giving up the first was a little silly, but maybe not.
Yep. Now, obviously, they also have Alan Butter. He's a great goalie in them. If you watch the games, you see he can make those beautiful saves, but sometimes just not enough. But he's an 84 right now. He's going to be an 88 soon. So that's not bad, but it could be better. So, anyways. Now the next team on here, Philadelphia Banks.
Fuck the Banks.
Oh, that's a good. I agree, but I mean,
I think the Banks are my least favorite team. I don't know why.
I mean, yeah, I feel like all their players on there are just so cocky or something like that.
Robbie Ruckus, I don't like him.
Robbie Ruckus, yeah, he's one of them. Transports
Alex
is cool.
is cool.
I like Transports.
Yeah,
Alex is cool.
Funny. Alex is he's good, so I don't like him.
Yeah.
Griffin's hard to trade with, so.
Yeah. Thomas Allen, really don't talk to the guy. Oh no, he did show up. He was the only person that showed up to the season 1 draft. So I like
Yeah.
that. I like that guy.
And Aiden Tag after
No,
this
no,
draft is over.
that was season 2. That was a season 2
Oh,
draft.
oops.
But
Well, Cosmo Red is very interesting. He's an 88 overall goalie, which I believe is the second best in the league.
yeah,
And his stats are just horrendous.
yeah, yeah. All right.
He's the sixth goalie on the standings.
Yeah,
And let me remind you, there's 6 teams in the league. So
yeah,
to be the second best goalie in rating and to be the sixth worst goalie and have the best defense in front of you, that
yeah.
is just
It is bad.
it
All right.
is almost
Our
something to
next
laugh
team,
at.
the Colorado Comets. They have a pretty bright future.
They turned around.
They did turn around. They didn't
They
they
started the
have
season.
they had like a 7-game winning streak around that.
They started the season 1-3-1, and then they won 6 in a row.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they've notched themselves. We're
They have
gonna
a
see them
good
play the Chimichangas tonight.
they have a good future. Uh, let's see.
I think them versus the Chimichangas is gonna be a good matchup. I think Clay will give them the edge over the Chimichangas. But
They
who
had a
knows?
6-game winning streak. The Comets had a 6-game winning streak. So, that's pretty big. That's a pretty good streak.
Yeah, I think it'll be a fun game tonight.
It would
I think
definitely be a
Clay
fun
will.
game tonight.
It'll be fun to see Clay against the best
Especially
player
with
in the
the
league.
live commentary we're getting here. The one and only.
Yeah, tune in tonight, 8:30 EST.
On Twitch, the VHL will have live commentary. We'll tune in from that. Anyways, our next team here is the Albuquerque Cornhats. They're a team that's interesting. They might not even be here any longer. Their owner is pretty inactive. Their team is just a mess. The owner doesn't sign anyone, doesn't trade. Their team is
Yeah,
yeah.
Jacob Hall he was auto signed over the season and ended up being one of their best players.
Yeah.
Without that auto signing, they would be
They would
who knows how
definitely
good
not
they
be in
would
the
be. But
playoffs. I mean, Shane did also carry them a bit, but
Carter Nolan he went inactive. He was a vice commissioner at one point, went
yeah,
inactive, and who knows what the future has for this team. Maybe
yeah,
he'll turn around and he'll become an active owner again. If not, we might have to see we might be seeing a relocation Albuquerque.
yeah. With the new manager under. Next team here
Uh,
and last
but
team.
besides that, I still have more to say about this team. Hold on,
Oh, okay, okay.
come on, hold your horses, AJ.
All right.
Garfield Petit, he has somehow. I mean, he's only an 87. It's not that low, but he has been a top 4 player in terms of stats. Or I guess he was 5th last year. Each year, and he was drafted all the way in the 3rd round of the season 1 draft. Absolute steal for this team. I don't think I think this team has a very good ability to draft. I mean, Dylan Radigan, he's turned out pretty good. Garfield, Jacob Hall, he's been pretty good. Shane has been pretty good. A lot of solid players all around. I think this team's greatest strength is their drafting ability. And Carter Vicente also, obviously he's been a Vezina candidate. I can't wait to see what they're gonna do next draft and who they're gonna take, and got a lot of good players. So yeah.
Okay. All right, we ready to move on now?
Yeah.
Okay. The last team we have to talk about, Chicago Chimichangas. Not much to say about them. Their team is mostly full of rookies. So
They got lucky.
they have the best player in the league overall wise.
Jesus somehow is their leading scorer.
Yep. Billy Brown, not a bad defender. They don't
Yeah, I think
have
the
a
game about
second defender.
Guillermo is that he's too physical of a player. He doesn't go for goals enough. I
That's
mean, he's
because he's
good,
a
but
hitter.
if he wasn't an enforcer, I think he would score a lot more.
Yep.
That does bring like a whole new presence to their team when they need it, and I think that's something to look forward to in tonight's game is how much he's going to be going for hits,
Yep.
if they can punish on those hits, or if they'll be punished.
Yep.
He does get a lot of injuries.
They have a good goalie, Gunnar Glue. He's been really good.
Gunnar Glue, Curtis Tansley's he's been interesting. I mean, everyone expected him to be the starter come this time of year. Everyone expected this team not to make the playoffs, but not only did they make the playoffs, but they have the third seed, beating
Yep.
both the Cup winners, the Cup runner-ups, and the Clownfish.
Yep.
And Gunnar Glue steals the job. Curtis Ansley rides the bench. Many trade talks of Curtis Ansley possibly being linked with the Banks, as Cosmo Ryder was benched not too long ago. So I think a lot of good trade destinations could be for Curtis Ansley. I mean, who knows?
He's
Maybe
a
he'll go to
good
the
player. He's just
TikTokers.
not on a team that he needs to be on.
Yeah, I mean, he's just maybe you'll see a goalie trade with the TikTokers, but
Maybe even the
we'll see
Clownfish.
where he ends up.
I'll see what I can do. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you need to. Who knows? We'll see.
Alright.
What happens?
We'll be good. We're gonna wrap this up.
No, we have more.
No? Oh, we do? Okay. Let's see, how long is this podcast so far? 31 minutes. Alright.
I think we can do this an hour.
Oh my god, alright. Alright, well, what else we got? Yeah. What else do we
Our
got?
changes for next season.
Oh, yes. That's gonna take us the hour. Oh, boy.
Play-Doh is hyped for the commentary.
I see that, yeah. Hey, look at the guys that underneath. Anyways.
Bro, he puts in TikTokers group chat. Oh, so I'm on TikToker team. Bet. And then he says, what team am I?
Alright, talk to our viewers. I would have to go do something, so hold up.
Okay. We're talking about season 3 VHL changes. Lots of them. We're gonna get you guys in. We're gonna get you guys getting on the scoop. We have complimentary or special guests here today. Guillermo Martinez. Do you have any words for the audience?
Oh yeah, so I would like to say to you all, avocados from Mexico.
Yeah, he just moved here from Cancun.
Tijuana, Mexico.
Tijuana. He likes tequila. I know that. He's really good at cutting your grass. And he got his team in the playoffs. They're playing tonight. What are your thoughts on your team's playoff performance? Or what are your thoughts on them going into a game with the Comets?
Oh my goodness. The team absolutely on the other team. They absolutely no chance. Destroyed Martinez. I destroyed them all easy. Easy, no chance against them. Oh my gosh. Easy for me to climb the wall than to beat these guys. Like, oh my gosh. Like, geez.
Very well said. Well, tune in tonight at 7:30 Central Standard Time or 8:30 EST time to watch the Chimichangas play against the Comets. And that'll bring us to our next section, the season changes, the changes for season 3. We got a couple of them, lots of big ones. First one, I think the smallest, least significant award the least significant change is a new award. We're going to be introducing the Calder Award, which will actually be awarded at the end of this year. So it really is a change for this year, not next year.
What are you talking about?
I was talking about the new award, the Calder Award.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Highly
Highly requested.
I'm trying to go in the least importance. Next change is player age. Players will now have ages, so the older you are, the higher chance you have of going down in overall. This is so that we don't have teams stacked and that players actually decline how old they get. I mean, obviously, we're only in our third season, so it'll take a while for these players to get to that age, but as soon as you know it, It will be coming. Team owners will be 25. Rookies will be 20 when they're drafted. Each year that they play will be 1 year to their age. So that's something to look out for. Next up, we have goalie rest. Teams will now be forced to rest their goalies. So every 3 games, a goalie can play 3 consecutive games. And as soon as they play 3 consecutive, a new goalie must play the 4th game to give that goalie some rest. This is to encourage backup goalies. See what happens when teams are forced to play their backup goalies. More strategy, more depth to roster. It's just something to make the game more fun for team owners and
Yep.
give goalies more chances to play if they're riding the bench. And
Yep.
finally, for our biggest change,
Here's the
2
big
lines.
one. Yep. We are now doing 2 lines.
This is pretty big because now we will have lots more players. Your star players won't be only on the ice for half the game instead of the whole game.
Yep.
So depth of roster will matter a lot more. Your roster size is gonna be 10, so you can mix that up however you want. You could have 2 good goalies. You can't scratch players, so if you want to keep a player on the bench, that will not count towards your 10 players. But
Yep.
you could have 1 goalie, 4 defensemen, 5 forwards. You can have anything in that sort of stay. It's gonna be interesting to see what teams do. You can mix up your lines. You can do whatever you want. It should be fun. The only
Yeah.
rule is that you can't have one guy play on both lines.
Yeah.
I think next season will be a lot
But
different.
yeah, next
Be a lot
season will
more
be definitely fun. With all that new
stats.
stuff
I think
we
will be a
have.
lot. Players will. I don't think be putting up as many points, but it'll be interesting. And you know anything else?
I don't think so. No. You covered
Yeah, I think
it pretty good.
that'll be it. Again, 7:30 tonight, Central Standard Time, or 8:30 EST. Catching
We'll-
Chimichangas and
yeah.
comments with live commentary.
Yep.
We'll see you then.
Alright, I'll see you guys. Thanks for tuning in.